Elon Musk, Entrepreneurial, Replicant. I know that the sequel to 1982's classic film Blade Runner didn't exactly set the box office on fire last fall. Neither did the original, if you remember. Blade Runner depicts a world where androids, called replicants, are so advanced they are indistinguishable from humans in every way but one. Replicants can't feel empathy. In the original film's opening sequence, Leon, a replicant, shoots the policeman conducting an empathy test on him after being asked how he feels about his mother. The new film takes the ideas from the first and expands on them, deepening both the story and the allegory. It's truly great stuff. Despite its lack of wide appeal, a movie like Blade Runner 2049 is exactly the kind of thing we need in this age where nothing is as it appears. Control of the narrative is far more important than little things like the truth. In a hyper-politicized world which would make even George Orwell blush, he who controls the narrative controls the capital. And it is this obsession with style over substance, what you can get away with, is more important than the value you produce for your fellow man. And this brings me to Elon Musk. Musk is the perfect replicant of a real entrepreneur. The essence of entrepreneurship is to see a need underserved by the current market and provide a product that fills that need. By doing this, the entrepreneur serves the people he sells his products to, and his reward is the difference between his costs and the price people are willing to pay him. But what need is truly served by a Tesla? Without massive subsidies, electric car sales drop to zero. They have no real-world value except to their owners who virtue signal about global warming. Therefore, Tesla Motors is a pale reflection of a real car company. There is no real innovation in a Tesla. It is simply a good-looking, albeit expensive, electric car. And every time I see one on the road, I check the front grille closely in the vain hope that it's not a Tesla, but a Maserati Quattroporte, a rare sight in my neck of the woods. Because looks are not the only thing that Tesla shares in common with its Italian doppelganger. The other is build quality. Italian cars, especially Maseratis, are mad machines made by mad Italian designers, but they're honest about their madness and they are marketed to equally mad people. They are luxury items. Teslas, by comparison, are relatively simple. They are just banks and banks of common as dirt Panasonic lithium-ion batteries and 4 electric motors. They're not nearly as complicated as a Maserati, certainly not one like a turbocharged Quattroporte. As a luxury item, the Model Sense makes some sense. But a consumer product like the Model 3 has no real use case improvement over its gasoline or hybrid counterpart. The more Tesla attempts to fulfill Musk's endless hype surrounding himself and his company, the more the company fails to produce a product worth owning. The Model 3s are, in a word, awful. 85% of the cars fail initial quality testing by Tesla's own low standards. They're being built in a tent, for Christ's sakes. The build quality is lower than those Italian nightmares of the 1970s Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard Hammond used to wax poetically about on Top Gear. And every time there is a negative headline surrounding Tesla, Musk is out there in the media doing some shuck and jive to remind us of how brilliant he is. The latest is his cheap stunt to further humanize himself on the Joe Rogan Experience, smoking weed and using a flamethrower. This is to distract us from the fact that Tesla is dying. The head of HR and the head of accounting quit the company the next morning. Tesla's books are as likely as cooked as Elon got hanging out with Rogan. And now that the wheels have come off of the Elon Musk super genius narrative, he's revealed to be more Wile E. Coyote than Henry Ford. Companies are a reflection of their leadership, and Tesla's inability to build the most basic of assembly lines to put together a car that should be easier to build than any gasoline-powered car tells you this was always a disaster in waiting. And I bet you Musk could farm out the pre-sold Model 3 production to Ford for the final assembly, and they would get built better, faster, and cheaper. And Lord knows Ford has excess capacity at this point. Because for all of its faults, Ford knows how to build cheap cars. Electric cars only make economic sense with massive wealth transfer payments from government. Free money doesn't invoke discipline, it creates sloth. Building a company that way isn't entrepreneurship, it's rent-seeking. Teslas are replicant cars created by replicants for people believing fake stories about the end of the world, spending fake money, living unsustainable lives, and Elon Musk is their Neander Wallace, the false god who builds unreliable facsimiles of objects that promote human freedom but create debt slavery. The difference between the Model S and the Quattroporte is love. Italians love making cars. Every once in a while, they make a good one. Does anybody really believe Elon Musk loves building cars? Maseratis designers are driven to make beautiful things you want to fall in love with. That includes their faults. There is nothing to love about a Tesla. What Elon Musk loves is telling stories that revolve around himself. Thus, any venture that allows him to do that, i.e. Tesla, SpaceX, SolarCity, have his rapt attention, but not his focus, which is always on the mirror. And that's the opposite of the entrepreneurial drive to build something someone else will love. Because if the entrepreneur doesn't love his product, how will his customers? Elon Musk, replicant that he is, sees this love but doesn't understand it any more than the replicants in Blade Runner knew how to empathize with other people. It's why Leon couldn't answer the question about his mother. He didn't have one. They aped empathy but didn't feel it, and Musk will end up alongside every other fake innovator, a case study for biographers asking why it all went so wrong.